Hey there, internet friends, and welcome to That D Plus Show. Class is in session for the only show from that nerdy site that lets you know what kind of quality to expect right from the name. I'm your host, Trevor Starkey, and each week we dive into a different Disney Plus offering and discuss its history, how it holds up today, and our general impressions on the thing. This show is made possible entirely by the support of our patrons over at patreon.com/thatnerdysite. So if you like the show and you can support us over there, we would definitely appreciate it. But if you can't, no big deal. The fact that you're listening is awesome. And of course, we would love it if you like, subscribe, rate, review, share the podcast with your friends, all that fun stuff. Joining me today, we have some of the crew from 6-1 Indie. We have Kyle Stephenson. How you doing, Kyle?
I'm doing excellent, Trevor.
Excellent. Welcome. And we have Mike Towndrow. How you doing, Mike?
I'm ready to get a blank check and commit some fucking crimes, my dude. Let's go.
There you go. Lots of crimes to commit here.
So many crimes.
Before we dive in, for those that don't know you guys somehow, I'm pretty sure like anybody that listens to this show knows me from Kind of Funny, and by extension, I feel like would probably know you guys. But for anybody that doesn't know, what do you guys do over at 6-1 Indie?
Go ahead, Mike.
Is it me or you, Kyle? Me? Okay.
You got it, yeah.
Yeah, we are 6-1 Indie. We are an independent games media website and a collective of content creators focusing all on indie gaming and the indie gaming scene. On 61indie.com, we have previews, reviews of the latest and greatest indie games. We do a lot of developer interviews with a lot of fantastic people in the scene. We do Twitch streaming, mostly highlighting indie games that you should be keeping an eye out. And we have two podcasts, the 6-1 Indie Cast, which is usually our impressions on the latest indie games and just like kind of review discussions and so on and so forth, plus whatever news is hitting that week. And our other podcast, the Dollar Slice Podcast, is our virtual hangout in a pizza shop kind of bullshit around podcast where we usually bring on a guest and just hang out. And you can find all that on 61indie.com, at 61indie on Twitter. The numbers are spelled out. I learned that I have to start clarifying that.
Good call. I got my 6-1 Indie merch here.
Nice.
On the
Trevor's
the
part
video
of the
version.
Pigeon Coop.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know that was our name, but yeah, hell yeah. Like you guys,
I'm slowly making that a thing.
cool.
That's
you guys,
our Knockout City crew name, so it's got to be a thing now.
nice.
Now it has to be a thing.
Yeah, you guys launched. When did you guys rebrand into 6-1 Indie? Late last year?
Yeah, so
Around Extra Life, right?
We started as, well, Kyle and Kelsey started as kind of NYC, then I came on a little bit after that. Obviously, I started dating Kelsey, so they were stuck with me. So last November, we decided to rebrand to 6-1 Indie for a couple of reasons. We didn't want to be in the shadow of content creation with Kind of Funny, and we didn't want to cause any problems, obviously, with Kind of Funny. And the other part of it was every time we would do meetups, because a big part of kind of NYC and 6-1 Indie, well, granted, with 6-1 Indie, we're in the middle of this pandemic, so it hasn't really worked out. But a big part of what we do is meetups and trying to connect people and trying to connect gamers and just nerdy people and like the for lack of a better term, the outcasts. Because, as we were all growing up, we struggled, at least speaking personally, struggled getting friends and making connections on nobody was playing Yu-Gi-Oh with me in the friggin' hallways in high school. A big part of the rebrand also was to just break down barriers of the gaming community as a whole. Because like even at PAX East, for example, when we do our meetups, people would see us hanging out in the bars and they would ask, how you guys know each other? What is this? We would explain like, we're Kind of Funny best friends, so on and so forth. They either wouldn't be fans of Kind of Funny or they wouldn't know who Kind of Funny is, but they would always ask like, is it okay if I hang out? I'm like, yeah, of course, hang out. Come, like, let's drink, let's play games, let's do this. So kind of just like breaking down those barriers to just make a more general kind of thing, a more welcoming community. Felt like a good idea.
Nice, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to see what you guys are doing over there, and yeah, I've been supporting you from day one. I'm pretty sure when you guys like rebranded and launched the rebrand, I went and bought the hoodie, even though I live in friggin' Phoenix, Arizona, where I do not need hoodies. It is probably 100 degrees today, but I wanted to throw this on in support of you guys for the episode.
Nice.
So,
Well, thank you, Trevor.
Yeah, thank you. Fun fact with that hoodie. So like I that was like the one thing I absolutely wanted to design. Like I wanted that to be like a day one merch thing because I wanted it myself. Mm-hmm. And I knew I loved Bella and Canvas. Shout out to those shirts. They're fantastic. I I ordered this hoodie in my size, which is 2X. That thing feels like a large. That thing is like up to my belly button and just like doesn't close. And I feel like I'm in a goddamn straitjacket. And I'm so disappointed that I can't wear that hoodie.
I'm sorry. Mine feels great. It's I quite enjoy
I'm glad
it.
it does, Trevor.
The
I'm glad it
1 or
does.
2 days a year I will wear it here in Arizona. Yeah. So and also tied to kind of the 6-1 indie rebrand, I'm pretty sure is when we had the idea to do this episode effectively, because at some point in that stream you guys mentioned like Funky Cold Medina and the topic of Towndrow came up, and then we got onto the topic of Blank Check, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's on Disney Plus now, so we should do a Disney Plus episode.
We were playing Fuser, right? I think we were playing Fuser in that
yes,
song.
yeah,
Right
that's right.
We were
yeah,
playing
it was-
Fuser, and there was like an argument that like I have no idea
Yeah,
who
you
this
had no
fucking
idea what
dude
it was.
is.
Yeah.
But then I heard the song, I was like, oh, this fucking guy. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that turned
so
into
yeah,
a whole
that kind
kerfuffle.
of is how we have come around to Blank Check as the oddball pick of this week. And I was glad we were able to squeeze this in because, as we announced last week, we're going to kick off basically a summer of Star Wars on that D Plus show starting next week.
Sweet.
We're going to watch through
Nice.
pretty much all the theatrically released films. So get one last non-Star Wars thing in before we dive head on into
Blank
that.
Check
So,
is my favorite. Blank Check is my favorite Star Wars prequel. That's a,
yeah.
I mean,
it's a
absolutely,
hard
yeah.
fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
This little
guess
Anakin-
it
this is
wouldn't
how
be
Anakin
it
gets
wouldn't
all
be a
his riches.
prequel, right? Because Star Wars, long time ago, galaxy far, far away. So
Fair. So this is the
this
new
is
New
this is the
Republic
future
that we're
far
living in.
sequel. Yeah.
Yeah.
New Republic.
Yeah.
So
Like
yeah,
Nintendo branding the friggin' universe.
there you go. A little bit, yeah. New 3DS Republic.
Yeah.
A little bit of the history on this. This was originally released February 11th, 1994. I forget how old you guys are.
Jesus.
I would have been 9. Maybe
Okay.
eight or 9. I would have almost turned 9, basically.
I was almost turning 7. I was going to turn 7 in May.
Yeah.
So-
And how
was-
young are you, Mike?
I was 3 at the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Which is wild because I was obsessed with this as a kid, and I don't remember being that young.
Yeah. I mean, it probably it would have been hitting
I mean,
VHS and
yeah.
stuff the next year or two. So
I mean, Disney Channel repeated these for decades.
yeah,
so.
very true. Other notable releases of the time, you had the week before Ace Ventura: Pet Detective had come out February 4th. My Girl 2 came out right alongside Blank Check here. Four Weddings and a Funeral would come out in March 9th. And then one of our other recent That D Plus Show episodes, D2 The Mighty Ducks, came out March 25th.
Love it.
Month and a half later. Has a runtime of 1 hour and 33 minutes, which when I saw that I was like, oh, this is going to feel brisk. And then it did not feel as brisk as I was hoping
Did
it
not
would.
at all, Trevor.
In the Disney live action timeline of things, you had, prior to this, you had The Three Musketeers on November 12th of 1993, and Iron Will came out January 14th, about a month prior to this. And then, as I mentioned, D2 Mighty Ducks came out in March, and White Fang 2 Myth of the White Wolf came out April 15th, 1994. So that's kind of where this all fit in the timescape of things.
The hell is White Fang?
White Fang was... So the original White Fang, I don't remember anything about White Fang 2, but the original White Fang was I want to say it was either a white kid or a white kid maybe acting as a Native American, or maybe they got a Native
good.
American, but I don't think so. But White Fang was his protector wolf, and it was. I mean, I remember very Arctic kind of feel, or
Okay.
I don't know, maybe Canada or something like that, very snowy, woodsy kind of thing. I probably watched
Yeah,
it
the Arctics of
once as a
Canada.
kid and was like, nope, this isn't for me, and then moved on. And so yeah, White Fang
Apparently,
2,
it stars
whatever the sequel of
Ethan
that was.
Hawke.
Yes, there you go. I definitely remember it had somebody notable as kind of the titular kid, or not titular, but the main kid there.
The sequels had Alfred Molina in it. The White Fang
Whoa.
2.
Well, I mean, it went to film and played in theater, so it wasn't like a direct to DVD or direct to
Sure,
VHS
yeah,
at the
yeah,
time sequel or something. So
Sure, but also Meet the Spartans also played in theaters.
that's absolutely fair. I mean, Blank Check here played in theaters, so
Very true.
the 90s, a different time. For the roll call, the who's who, Rupert Wainwright was the director here, whose credits prior to this were predominantly as a music video director for MC Hammer and NWA. Most notably, he had directed videos like "You Can't Touch This" and "Straight Outta Compton." And then
Hell
this
yeah.
was, I believe, this was like his first real feature. And then I don't think he really did anything else after after
man.
that. He went pretty much
incredible.
went back to doing music videos. I think he did.
I would
like-
love for him
Yeah, go
like to
ahead.
be at a party where he's explaining like the projects he's gone. I was like, yeah, I directed
Yeah.
a music video, MC Hammer, NWA.
Oh.
Also, blank check.
Yeah.
This dude
Yeah.
did Stigmata.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh, really?
He did Stigmata. He did
Jesus.
the like the Michael Jackson History like teaser when that album was getting ready to
Oh,
drop.
yeah. The Fog? Whoa.
Yeah. So he did do some other things, just not things I recognized. So
Yeah.
thank you
Yeah.
guys for having the IMDb pulled up to fill that out. And then
The sadness of sex? What the hell's the sadness of sex?
don't know that one.
I'm not even gonna look into it. Never mind. Just fucking move on.
The writers here were Blake Snyder and Colby Carr. Very little on their IMDb's. I'm pretty sure Blake Snyder's entire writing credits were "Stop or My Mom Will Shoot," a few episodes of the old sketch show, like all that sketch show Kids Incorporated, and Blank Check. And then Colby Carr only wrote Blank Check. Pretty sure that was the
all
only
you
thing
need.
on their credits.
Oh, wow.
Then starring, we have as kind of the main little kid here, Preston Waters. We have Brian Bunsall, who had played Andy Keaton on Family Ties for about 75 episodes. And then he also did a handful of episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation. And that was about it. Karen Duffy here playing Shay Stanley was in Last Action Hero the year prior to this. And then later in 1994 would play another character with the name of Shay in Dumb and Dumber.
So that
and
was
then-
the fun fact I was going to bring up that
Yeah.
we discussed before recording. I like to think that's the same Shay.
There you go. Yeah, she just goes from being like an FBI person to just being like,
Well-
it's. I've only seen like Dumb and Dumber once, so I sacrilege or whatever. But
Sure.
she's basically the bad guy in that one, right?
Yeah, so in my mind that I just made up in the past 5 minutes, she kisses Preston. FBI does not like that. They're like, what are you doing?
There you go.
Fucking pedophile.
Immediately just kicked out.
Immediately fired. And she's like, shit, what am I going to do? My life is just up, it's ruined. And she goes to wherever Dumb and Dumber starts. And she's just making her new life. Meets that bigger dude. They're getting into drugs and stuff. I forgot what Dumb and Dumber is about. But they go to Aspen at some point. And then I think she dies. I don't know. Spoilers.
She
whatever.
definitely was
forever.
not in Dumb and Dumberer, so something may have happened.
She could have died.
She could have died. Yeah. And then one of
Or her and
most.
Preston met back up.
There you go.
The 7 years passed.
Yeah,
was
there's she's somewhere in the background in Catch Me If You Can, and so is Preston, and they're just out there living that check fraud life.
Oh, man.
Hell yeah.
She one of her most recent credits was a number of years ago back in The Fantastic Mr. Fox. James Rebhorn, playing the dad, Fred Waters, is one of those quintessential that guys who you may recognize as that guy from Independence Day, or that guy from The Talented Mr. Ripley, or that guy from Scent of a Woman, or that guy from Basic Instinct. The most notable one I remembered was Independence Day, where he's like the Secretary of Defense or something.
Oh yeah, he's like the asshole that like
Yeah.
I like him a lot. He's great.
Jane Atkinson playing the mom is pretty much a that girl or that woman kind of character. She was, I believe, the mom in Free Willy, but then she was in a season of 24, and she was one of the senators or congresswomen in House of Cards in some of the later seasons, as well as Criminal Minds. Miguel Ferrer playing he's credited as Quigley, but I'm pretty sure they usually refer to him as Carl, so I don't know why he's credited as
Yeah.
Quigley.
Yeah.
Another one of those that guys from RoboCop, Hot Shots Part 2, NCIS, and he was the vice president, the skeezy vice president in Iron Man 3 in the MCU.
Yep.
So if you remember that. Michael Lerner playing Bitterman. Was in Newsies like right before this, and then he was in the Clueless TV show. He played Mayor Ebert in Godzilla, as well as the Godzilla animated series. Like he did a couple episodes as Mayor Ebert there. He was in Elf. He was in a few episodes of Glee, and then he was a senator in X-Men: Days of Future Past. Tone Loc, what kicked this whole thing off, playing Juice.
Yeah.
Best known probably from Funky Cole Medina, but his acting credits also included Fern Gully, Surf Ninjas, and Ace Ventura, which had come out again right before
Yeah,
this.
Surf Ninjas used in that too.
So,
Yeah, he's in Surf Ninjas.
Until I read this on the Runner Show, did not know that was Tone Loc.
You didn't know the Juice. You didn't know
really?
Juice was Tone Loc.
No.
You're just like, why? Wait, why are we doing
over
this?
here? I don't know.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
I knew the song was in it. I just didn't know that. I
yeah.
saw his credit popped up. I was like, oh, that's interesting. He got credited for the song in like the opening credits.
Rick DeComan playing Henry. Previously had done Spaceballs. I always recognize him as the city worker in Die Hard who basically cuts the power to the Nakatomi Plaza. He was also in Groundhog Day and Scary Movie. And like, it was weird rewatching this that I actually probably just know him best from this, but he's another one of those like, oh, I recognize that guy from all these other things. Like he seems like he was probably in like that SCTV crew of like comedians out of either Canada or Chicago area.
Mm-hmm.
In my mind, he's like fake Chris Farley, and that's why I think I recognize him everywhere. But I do remember him from Scary Movie.
Yeah. Alex Zuckerman playing Butch. I just pulled him in here because he's also like the very ginger kid in Hook. And then he was also in The Adventures of Huck Finn around that time. And then lastly, I pulled in Debbie Allen as Yvonne, who she immediately came in. I was like, oh, I had forgotten this voice. But she, prior to this, had done Fame, both the movie and then the TV series in the 80s. And then more recently had had a pretty steady stint on Grey's Anatomy.
It's funny you say that because the moment she popped on, that accent or voice, what was going on? What was she doing?
Southern Texas or something like that.
Yeah.
Just like, this is not what I would have expected from upper crust party planner kind of character, but it was a choice. It was a bold choice.
And I think at some point they mentioned, I think the movie takes place like in Indiana or something.
Yes.
I think that's...
It's not even close to having people with like Southern accents. So I was like, why are you doing this?
Yeah.
Hey, she's charging big bucks for those parties. She's moving all over the country. You got to take advantage of those Midwestern hacks, those suckers.
Maybe they did shoot it because the first thing of trivia I have here is that the amusement park that they go to at the beginning is actually Six Flags Fiesta Texas in San Antonio. So maybe they did. Maybe they shot the thing in Texas, and she just happened to be living down there and was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna do this." The computer
director's
used...
like, "Yo, you like NWA? Come over here."
there you go. Yeah. The computer used to provide the voice of Mr. Macintosh is an Apple Macintosh Performa 600. And this is more probably in like errors or whatever, but just after Preston enters the bank for the first time, I absolutely noticed this because you see Shay walking in an overhead shot, and then she gets like the slow motion entrance treatment. And it's like, but she was just in there. Like wow, continuity. Like already off to a great start there.
There was another one that I didn't even pick up on, but I was watching this with my nieces. The scene later on where he's being chased in the park on the bike and he falls and loses his backpack. Yeah, he loses it like down. He loses
it in some woods and stuff, and then it's just out there in the open.
Some guy in the middle of a field is holding it, and the girls were like, "Wait, that's not where the backpack was. How did he get it?"
Right? Yeah. And then the last little one I pulled in here, I took the time to. I didn't do a screenshot of it, but I basically I transposed what is on the expense sheet just because I was like the first thing that jumped out at me is they've just pointed out that the party costs $100,000 and that is what he's typed in, but on the screen he only typed in $10,000 and also is still having an issue. But other expenses on this report are: the security system was $23,200. The video system was $35,600. The racetrack was $26,260. The batting cage was $12,500. Boxing, Velcro wall, and wrestling, which I don't even think we saw. Oh, I guess sumo wrestling is probably what that is. Was $1,250. The product placement, i.e., Coca-Cola, Haagen-Dazs, Charles chips, and Nabisco. One of those things is not like the others. It was a very precise $4,936.56. A slush puppy machine for $750. Plan 442, which that was the investment thing that he was selling to his dad. It was like, I guess that's going to be it for Plan 442, but it's also the exact price that he paid for the house. So I don't know. It's just kind of like a filler line on there. A round trip to Chicago, which is nowhere in this movie, for $374. Mac Kids Park, which is the park that he was at, where he loses the bag and they try and do like vehicular manslaughter, $40,000. So I don't know if he like bought the park or rented it for a day or what's going on there. The water slide is $12,850. The Horizon virtual reality was $30,000.
30 grand.
The date with Shay, date, dinner, necklace, flowers was $925. And then miscellaneous, $6,225.52. And then the party for $10,000. And the movie says this all totals up to $999,667.83. And it actually totals up to $504,871. $504,871.08. So he still had, about $500,000 to go. You got to, I guess, take $300,000 out there for the house, if that's not what Plan 442 is. But yeah, he still seemingly had plenty of money if this was supposed to be a complete expense report.
Going through these expenses.
Yeah,
and you can clearly tell someone's like, all right, they can't all end with 0 cents. So let's throw a couple in here with a couple cents to make it a little bit more real. Yeah. And they only did it on 2 of them.
Yeah. And one of them is just a blanket miscellaneous.
Yeah, exactly.
You can purchase a 16-ounce tin of Charles chips for $26.99.
What are they? Potato chips?
I guess so, Kyle.
Oh, okay.
There's also Charles pretzels.
There you go.
Oh.
You go to charleschips.com right now to look at the full collection.
Yeah, I was mildly disappointed that like the errors or whatever on IMDb did not go into that level of detail of like, hey, this doesn't add up. Like, nobody has bothered to go back and with an IMDb login and critique that.
Also,
that
where is it's Henry, right? Where's Henry's salary?
Yeah,
where's the limo rental?
Yeah, where's Henry's salary?
Maybe that's in miscellaneous.
Sure.
That's a low ass salary if that's miscellaneous.
Well, it was over the course of 6 days.
It's only 6 days.
So that's a lot.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. Or maybe Henry is Plan 442 and he's just getting a really good tip.
Maybe.
Yeah, right.
Where's all the ice cream?
But yeah,
where's the garbage pins of fucking ice cream?
Well, Haagen-Dazs, it's part of the food.
I mean, it's like it, but that would not be a tin of ice cream or the buckets of ice cream that they get. Yeah. So
sorry, Trevor, it's a garbage pail of ice cream.
Yes, yeah. But yeah, like the thing that really jumped out at me there was like, wait, why is there a round trip to Chicago on here?
Yeah.
Like, why is that something that the prop guy was like,
so
let's add that in to add color to the story? Or was that like a deleted scene somewhere? It's just weird.
Was that the trip when they go shopping at all the stores very early on once he gets his $1 million? Was that like the limo service that Henry took him on?
I mean, but it wouldn't have been like like that wouldn't have been a round trip to Chicago, would it?
Also, why bring your limo driver to Chicago?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. So let us dive in. So tell me, boys, how does this movie hold up here in 2021? I.e., how does it not hold up? Kyle, let me throw it to you first.
I thought so highly of this movie when I was little. I'm like, man, this is the life.
Right.
What a fun movie to watch. Like, I had a great time watching it now. Like I said, I was watching with my nieces. I kept checking the time and I was falling asleep. There's so many moments where it ramped. Like, I want to see him do cool stuff with his money and the things he's bought. Like, but then it just goes on and on with some very adult conversations and themes going on.
Yeah.
And it's not like super like kid friendly or anything like that. And just like me seeing the flaws and seeing the things that I'm just saying in my head, like, so each token at this amusement park is $1 each.
Is $1. He gets 6, and then he has to count them when it's like, this costs 7 tokens. He's like, do I have enough? How
exactly.
did you think you didn't? Like, we saw you get 6 tokens.
Yeah.
Listen,
like,
Disney's trying to teach kids math.
There you go. And also don't be poor. But I will say, like, that was one of the funniest things, like, at the beginning of the movie, how how much like the whole like how can I save money if I don't have any, and then the dad's kind of response of like you'd be surprised at how quickly that grows interest. It's like the dad is peak boomer and Preston is like all of us millennials or Gen Z or whatever that are coming up and being like, you have screwed us, we don't have any way to save money or to get money. Like, I was like, this definitely has a different tone now than it did, 20 some odd years ago.
Not to mention his number one item on his wish list is to kill his brothers.
Yeah.
Order a hit on his brothers.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
To his credit, he doesn't do that one.
Thank God.
In fact, he even gets them jobs working for his fake boss.
But yeah.
What'd you think, Mike? Kind of jumping into this.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I thought it held up. Like, I had a good time watching it 20 years later or whatever the fuck it was.
Mm-hmm.
No, I forgot that the scene opens up with a prison break. Jesus, prison break. Oh my god. Totally forgot that dude broke out of prison and is fucking embezzling money or whatever he was doing. I enjoyed all the adult stuff. I thought I think I appreciated it more as an adult now for some reason. I was actually more bored with the kid stuff.
That's fair.
Even though I don't know why.
It's because we have things in our own homes that are way more entertaining than half the stuff he does.
Yeah.
So
no, but I thought I was gonna hate it and it was gonna shatter my memory of this film, but it was exactly how I remember it, and it was I'm surprised it held up, at least for me personally, because obviously I'm the odd man out here. But yeah, I dug it.
I appreciate it. I had some fun with it, and specifically what I remember growing up and what I immediately would have thought of was all of the the fun things he spends the money on, and the shopping spree, and then just the buying a freaking castle and installing a water slide that goes right down in the pool, having a little go-kart thing around there, having the Velcro wall and the sumo wrestling and all that stuff. I remember that being oh, that would be really cool, and enjoying that, and being hell yeah, that's exactly what I would do if I lucked into $1 million or something. That's absolutely what I would have bought as an 11-year-old kid. I would just bought stupid stuff like that and blown through $1 million in a week. But yeah, the thing that really jumped out at me that we were talking about a little bit beforehand was I did not remember the Preston and Shay quote relationship that is in here.
I remembered it,
and
dude. I
remembered he had a crush on her, but I did not remember how weird that becomes.
Oh yeah,
yeah. No, Mike, I'm with you. When as a kid, I had such a huge crush on Shay.
Yeah.
You kidding me?
Yeah. 5-year-old Mike wanted to be Preston so bad, kissing Shay.
Oh yeah,
you kidding me? And that's exactly what my birthday wish would have been that year when I blew out those candles. And I absolutely would have brought Shay to that weird water park in the middle of Indiana.
The very fancy dinner fountain thing. Yeah.
Yeah, the fancy dinner fountain thing that they run away with the water, but clearly it's to get Shay drenched, which is a very weird thing for a Disney Channel film.
Yeah, what was it? I took in my notes somewhere. I'm here Preston's the little pervy guy, just taking her to get the water. Oh, there's another little continuity trivia thing that was she shows up to the date in heels, but during the whole fountain sequence, she's in sneakers, and then when they run away again, she's back in heels. And it's all right. I mean, I get that you wouldn't want to be doing the stunts there in heels and slipping and sliding, but yeah.
I also, before I sat down to watch it the other day, I was for some reason melding Blank Check with Richie Rich, and I'm wait, doesn't he have a McDonald's in his house too? And they go karting in the fields or whatever. And no, clearly I had them all mixed up.
Mm-hmm.
So hilariously enough, I blend Blank Check and Kazam.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I think I've watched both of these films just juggling both these films constantly as a child.
Mm-hmm. Nice. One of the things I thought about a lot as I was watching this is actually one of the other recommendations, which I did not know at all was on Disney Plus. But it's Camp Nowhere, which was another one of my favorite movies growing up. For those that don't know, the premise is basically kids for a tech camp and a fat camp and a couple other a drama camp or something. They basically like take all of their parents' money for those camps and create their own camp, which later would become like the premise for the movie Accepted, but for college.
Yeah.
And like Christopher Lloyd is like an actor that they hire to be the fake camp counselor and be like the adult. It's also like one of the first things Jessica Alba ever did, I think. And I just remember like loving that movie as a kid. And it's another case of like these kids get all this money to put into this little like scheme thing that they're going to do. And then of course, you know, like they have to have a parents' day where they basically have to juggle all of the different camps at the end before everything kind of gets revealed and they get found out and stuff. Yeah, like I remember like those wish fulfillment kind of like movies of like, hey, what if you had a bunch of money to do your own stupid kid things? Because like, and I think they have a lot of similar kind of thing where it's like, yeah, they blow a whole bunch of money on stupid things like things that you can go jump into like the lake or something like that, and big bouncy castle kind of stuff. So yeah,
It's the dream.
I also did not realize that the house that Preston buys is down the street from his house. As a kid, I never made that connection that it's literally right down the street.
Yeah. Right down the street where like all of those like all the like companies that are like installing stuff. There's enough of them that they're blocking the other house's traffic.
Yeah.
I also like one of my favorite little things at the end is like the bad guys break down the door at the house, and then the movie ends with them like having a little birthday thing, and like nobody mentions it. Like everybody's apparently completely fine that they're like the front door of their house was busted down. So yeah, definitely like love things like that just did not at all get addressed.
Yeah. I also love at the end when like, you know, they're at the party and like they, you know, he says like, oh, Macintosh left, he's not here or whatever. It turns into just like a fucking riot. Like people are like tearing down signs, stealing
presents,
stealing presents. Like
exactly.
Just leave the party. You're
but
in
at the
Indiana.
same time,
what the fuck?
Who were all those people showing up at a party for a made up person? Yeah, like the note I took there was like fucking rich socialites. Like fuck these
gold
guys.
diggers.
Yeah,
the upper class of Indiana.
Yeah, the whole third act of the movie ends up becoming basically like a Home Alone kind of like thing of like, hey, like we gotta pit the kid against the bad guys and let's do it in all these fun ways that we've kind of set up earlier. Like and I had a good
realizing
time with that.
Money isn't everything kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The critical scene of him riding his bike through the park and just longfully looking at the kids.
Yeah,
like I wish I had these friends.
Yeah, I will say I like. For as slow as I kind of agree that with Kyle that like a lot of the movie was like the relationship between Preston and Henry by the end of the movie when like they're saying their goodbyes, I was like, why am I tearing up at this? This is ridiculous.
Delightful.
Like Henry was just a cool guy that like probably saw through. I mean, definitely by the end saw through everything about Macintosh and stuff, and it's just like
also,
he was along for the ride.
Why do you have to say goodbye? It's fine.
I mean,
they can still be friends. They can still chill.
True.
Like it doesn't have to be goodbye. It's fine.
I mean. Also weird though, you know, some like a 30 or 40-year-old guy hanging out with a 12-year-old kid.
Preston aged like 12 years after he got the kiss from Shay. It's fine.
Yeah, there you go.
Also, just thinking of this, I think this is like another plot hole. But at the end of the movie, where the bad guys Quigley, Biederman, and Juice are there holding what's his face again? Oh my god, Preston. And the FBI Shay's coming up like, freeze. Are you Macintosh? Like, where's Macintosh? And this escaped prisoner that the FBI are also looking for, they don't recognize his face. And so they don't recognize him as Carl Quigley, the escaped prisoner. But when he says Mr. Macintosh, that he's Macintosh, that is what gets them to arrest him.
Alias, dude.
I mean, they're trying to hunt down the money. They're that section of the FBI. They're not, you know, they don't know.
Sure, that's fair.
They're not looking at the top 10 most wanted list every day or whatever, and he's probably not on there. He just busted out of jail. He's not showing up on like post office, you know, like top 10 wanted lists or anything like that. But I like one of the things I was actually kind of impressed by was when we see the real estate lady basically like handing off the money and Shay's basically seeing like these are the marked bills. I was like, okay, well, any movie that in the last 10, 15, 20 years has taught me, well, like you have that, so to move on Macintosh. And so I appreciate that, like in the very next scene, she's showing up at Macintosh's house and being like, hey, so I'm pretty sure I got to investigate this guy. What's this kid doing here?
FBI question. Is that what marked bills look like? Just giant FBI?
Oh no, I'm sure not. I am sure not. I am sure it is not that just under
letters.
black light. Yeah.
Yeah. I like to think that they also just put like random words like "gotcha" under the light that pop up when you put it on.
There you go. This is a fake bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched a little mustache.
The best the most kind of like connection I can think of was or that I know of is like my aunt was worked as a cashier at a bank or something at some point, and there like she was telling me that at one point like the dye bag that is like designed to basically explode if somebody tries to rob the bag and mess up all the bills, like that exploded in her register one day or something like that. And so it was just like there was just a like bunch of like blue smoke kind of in the vicinity. It was just like, well, that's a weird thing.
Happy Tuesday.
Yeah. No
One
idea what the actual marked bills would look like.
Yeah, one of my favorite parts when it comes to the writing of this movie is when Preston, the old bank teller, very rudely brings Preston up to Biederman, and they have that conversation where it's like, "Oh, you want some juice?" And the kid's like, "No,
juice?
No, thanks."
Yeah.
Like it was. I actually like that wordplay a little bit.
Yeah,
I think it works very well.
I was gonna bring that up also. It's just he just says juice, like implying the name. He's like, juice? No, I'm not thirsty.
Yeah.
He's like, okay.
Yeah, and then
Smooth
Biederman's
guy.
like, oh, this is a clever ploy, Quigley. This is nobody would suspect a kid. So
My favorite follow-up-
here is stacks of $10 and $5 wrapped bills.
My follow up to the follow up line of dialogue that I really loved is Biederman goes, "Oh, is big bills fine?" He goes, "No, normal size."
yeah.
And that did it was like, wait, what?
Yeah. I really like Bitterman, and I guess I like Juice too. Like in there, I like them being pseudo foils to Quigley and stuff, while
Juice
also
is,
just being like monstrous people.
Yeah,
Juice is a bit of a creeper during the bank
Oh,
scene.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like a little excessively for a Disney film.
But yeah, like this movie is just built on like coincidence after coincidence after like the mother of all coincidences that this money laundering scheme happened to be going down at that same time as Preston decides to write like try and cash $1 million check that he has forged. But also shout out to him knowing the formatting of his printer well enough to get that on the first try.
Yeah. Also, just the computer program in general.
Yeah. The voice program, the mom screwing him by about $100,000 when she's like, well, how about 3 actually? And they're like, 300,000, all right. But then like other coincidences later on where it's just like both of the parties just happen to be at a park at the same time and see the kid or whatever. And lots of just like this is very stretching, the flaws of a reality, but whatever. It's a dumb fun
shout
movie.
out to the shopping scene. The shopping scene is straight up shot like a music video.
Yeah.
Which now makes sense.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Any other favorite moments or least favorite moments you guys want to give some love or hate to?
Man.
I mean, yeah, like you mentioned earlier, like the relationship with Henry is really charming and cute, and like I like that throughout the film. I think Henry as a character is really sweet and funny. I love the scene of him trying to like describe what women want and like get him like hyped up for the date. And like calling Preston like fucking like ripped and chiseled. He's like, you're ripped, dude, but we gotta chisel you, and like just stuff like that. And just like and saying like something. The line is like, go to all you can eat buffet and then make sure you fill your pockets. Women love when you pull out a chicken wing out of your pocket or some shit like that.
Yeah,
So
it doesn't say all you can eat here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I love like even in that scene because like that very much feels like a scene where they just told him to riff. Because like if you like the whole scene is basically just like Preston reacting and he's just like totally into it and he's just very excited for all this advice that this guy is telling him.
Yeah.
That's also a standout scene for me as well. I agree.
Yeah, I dig Henry a lot as well. The other thing is when this movie goes into like Home Alone territory where he's beating up the bad guys in his house, and the way he takes out Biederman is so the dumb. Funniest thing, and I love it.
Yeah,
he just puts the VR headset on, and instead of Biederman just taking it off, he's like, "Whoa, oh my god!" And it's like effectively taking him out of commission, and then they push him in this chair. And Preston raises it up in the air like he's out of commission, but then he just shows up normally after that. Like, how did he get down?
Yep.
Did he jump down? His knees are obliterated if he jumps down from that height.
Yeah. And Juice just gets taken out by a batting cage by the like the ball of the batting cage just continue.
Yeah.
Like doesn't think, hey, maybe I should move out of this little range of the ball that is coming to hit me. He just kind of sits there and takes, 20 baseballs to the face, chest, and groin. Yeah. But then, he like everybody shows up and just pincer attacks Preston like when the time is right at the end,
and effectively Preston killing Quigley.
Like ball. Just drowning him. Yeah.
He went into the pool in a locked ball cage from Knockout City. He's dead.
He's dead.
I saw somebody retweet the Fusion Frenzy box out earlier. I was like, holy shit, this is the Fusion Frenzy minigame. Yeah, homeboy's dead.
I think when I think of that, I think of like American Gladiators had like a ball thing that like you got to like land it in this spot and then you'll get like points and jets of smoke will shoot up in the air or something like that. But yeah, like even those things like I would still like today I would be like that'd be fun. Like hell, when we can all get together for like a kind of funny future event or something, like that would be a fun thing to just like let's rent a few of those kinds of things for a day at the park or something, and just be like, all right, who wants to go bowling? Who wants to go like live action bowling and stuff like that, or get the sumo wrestling things from The Office. Good fun times. But also like the idea that the big foam boxing gloves are enough to like take out Quigley is another like that's weird.
There was bungee cords involved as well. He was bungeed.
So that's fair. He magically teleported from underneath the like last table to up in the tree to come down. Got the harness hooked up in time and then just surprise attack. Like Henry, the relationship between Henry and Preston was like absolutely like my favorite little bit. I did not remember like how antagonistic Preston was with his like whole family. Especially like I guess I remember like as soon as the brothers come in and like they're starting their own business and it was like the dumb like foot in mouth or whatever like that stupid. I was like, this doesn't turn into anything, right? It's just an excuse for why they would have a computer in Preston's room, I guess. And then they're just like kind of jerks for a couple scenes, and then this movie is not about the family. It's not about them. It's not about the mom. The dad kind of comes in. He gets like a moment of like a heart-to-heart to a complete stranger about his kid, doing that typical like the father never actually talks to their son kind of thing, but the son gets the message or overhears it or whatever.
The bully sucks.
Oh yeah,
fuck that
Butch.
kid.
Butch sucks.
Butch,
I appreciate that like
Butch.
he kind of gets his comeuppance by like dangling off a building. Like it's a little much, but also like fuck that kid. Much. Like Butch was like the opening like really laying in on like how poor Preston is with like Butch being a dick as well as all of the other kids at Butch's party being dicks to Preston, but also Preston being a dumbass and standing with the cotton candy, which I'm guessing probably cost him 5 coins or something. That he just stands there and lets. Also, Preston didn't have to go ride the merry-go-round and let everybody like he chose to like do those stupid kitty things. Like he could have just not done them and not been ridiculed by everybody. But the fact that he stands right in front of the splash zone, I'm like, you brought that upon yourself, dumbass. I'm like, I feel no sympathy for you in this moment. But fuck Butch. Butch sucked. But he did help Preston get that blank check, I guess. So
he did.
Maybe that's his like one redeeming quality in this movie. But by
Butch
being a
clearly
jerk,
has a history of at least like experience with alcoholism, because he just laying on that vodka line way too much with Quigley.
Yeah. Very true.
He knows the deal. So, Butch, you're okay. I'm sorry about your parents.
Yeah. Oh, I also like, just as I'm going through my notes, I loved how coincidental it was that Preston sees Shay running while they're like coming back from their shopping spree in the limo, and like just says hi and like offers her a ride. She's like, no, I'm good, thank you though. I guess I'll see you when you come like deposit that $200. And like they drive off, and she is immediately there to talk to one of her like FBI handlers or contacts or whatever. Who's like, it's like, why were they even there? Like, why? Like, she's just going for a jog. Why did that suddenly turn into a work scene?
It's a recon jog. Recon jog.
Clearly.
I do like.
And then
in
later
that scene,
when
Henry is kind of like, yeah, good line, kid. Like in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
And then later when they go to drop Shay off from the date, like they drop her off downtown.
Yeah.
Not even close to this jogging neighborhood that is realistic as to where she lives.
Yeah, she's just like, you can just drop me off over, like I'm right up here or whatever. Yeah. It's like, no, you're not. This is you just like, if you played it like you just don't want to be in the backseat of a car with this 11-year-old kid anymore.
Yeah.
So you want to get out, then that'd be fine. But that's not how she plays it. She plays it like absolutely kind of like flirting back, and it's like, this is very weird. And
I can't overstate enough how creepy that ending is when she kisses Preston.
Yeah.
After that whole thing of like 10 years, call me 6, 8. Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
In my mind, I remember it being like a kiss on the cheek or something.
Sure.
I did not remember lips.
Yeah. When I went to go grab like the art that's going to be the thumbnail for this episode, just like the box art or whatever, but like I clicked like, blank check or whatever, there are a lot of videos or BuzzFeed articles of like creepy scenes you don't remember from movies growing up, and this is like the thumbnail image for a lot of them. It's Shay and Preston kissing. It's like, oh yeah, no, I did not remember that at all until I sat down to watch the movie. 'Cause, yeah, it was like it was like, I guess, like a right level of uncomfortable or whatever throughout. It's that like, if you think too hard about Big, it's like, well, that's really weird that like she's, she just had sex with a kid who's just in Tom Hanks's body or whatever. Yeah. But like, this is like, no, he's still very clearly a kid. Why are you flirting with him so much? Why did you dress up so fancy for a date with a kid? Why did you continually refer to it as a date with this 11-year-old kid who is clearly smitten with you? Like all these red flags that I appreciate the headcanon that you have created, Mike, that like she completely gets disavowed from this and goes into becoming the bad person in Dumb and Dumber. That I think is clearly the only way to, help explain away what Shay does in this movie. But also at the same, like, it's weird because at the same time, like when we were kids in that era, the coolest thing that could have happened would have been like if you had a hot teacher and she was into you and like sleeping with the students or whatever. And like nowadays, like, no, that is wrong in every potential situation unless you're like a skis ball and think, oh, that would still be hot. But it's like, we were skis balls when we were kids, and
all of us were. Yeah.
Shay was a cutie. But yeah, poor Karen Duffy having to actually just kiss
I know.
Because at the time, also, like, one of the other trivia things was like, contrary to normal movie casting, like where they usually cast like a couple years older compared to the age, like they actually cast younger, and Preston was still only 11, like when filming Wrapped for this movie. So like he's younger than he's playing. So yeah, she just made out, or she not made out, but she just kissed an 11-year-old right on the lips for this movie. Very, very.
I hope
weird.
that was only one take.
Oh God, yeah. Like,
like
just be like,
one and done.
That was guys that like, and I'm sure the kid was probably like, I'm sorry, I don't think we got that right. and tried to milk it, but I think we've probably touched on a little bit of everything there. So now is the time to grade the movie. Let's dive into the report card where we grade blank check from A+ to F. Mike, let's start with you, since you seem to have been probably the most favorable on us. What would you give this movie as a grade?
As favorable as I was, or as I am, C+.
C+? Okay. How about you, Kyle?
I was actually thinking C+ as well. It is a good time, but it is fairly dated.
Yeah, I'm sitting like safely in the C category myself. Like it's not egregiously bad like some of the things we watched recently, like like D3 The Mighty Ducks. I did not remember being as bad as that movie is, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
But it's like it's nowhere near like great, and so it's also judging on like grading on a curve of like it's clearly like a kids movie kind of thing, and it's not supposed to we're not supposed to be looking at it 25 years later through this lens or whatever. But yeah, it's a fine movie. It definitely made me like think back on the fantasies of what would I do if I had $1 million, what would I buy, what kind of thing, because like for the last I don't know like 15 years since I've been an adult, more or less, it's been like, oh, if I had $1 million, well, I'd invest a lot of it to, just kind of let the money kind of continue to grow.
Goodbye, student loans.
I donate some to, to causes I like and stuff like that. And I would, probably continue living the life I'm comfortable living. I'm not going to like, I wouldn't go crazy with it, but like, this is just kind of like, hey, fantasize about all the dumb things you would buy if you were a kid. You would absolutely go get a whole brand new wardrobe of cooler clothes, get that like sharp blue suit that he just wears to
the game show host suit.
Exactly,
with the obnoxious patterns on the tie and the vest and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. But then it'd be all the dumb fun things you'd like the water slide that you just have like installed in a house, or you buy a freaking castle.
What would a reboot look like? Like, let's say 2022, the reboot of Blank Check comes out. Is it a blank check for $1 million, or is it like an unlimited American Express credit card?
Something like that. It ends in a felony.
It's
with a woman kissing a child.
It's Bitcoin actually, or Dogecoin or something like that. It's some kind of like cryptocurrency that gets accidentally wired into his account or something.
And is it just a biographical piece on Mr. Beast and how he came to be who he is?
There you go. Yeah, absolutely. Or he goes and buys something from Elon Musk or something. All right. Extra credit. Other suggestions that Disney Plus will throw at you if you liked this one. You've got just kind of a murderer's row of movies from this era, including Jungle to Jungle, The Big Green, The Kid, D2 The Mighty Ducks, Heavyweights, Camp Nowhere, A Kid in King Arthur's Court, and That Darn Cat, specifically the Christina Ricci version.
I would like to add one more that's not on this list, Trevor.
All right. Hit me.
First Kid.
First Kid? Okay.
First Kid with Sinbad and the president's son.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the president's son gets kidnapped by this deranged person and takes a bullet for him. What a great movie.
It's like Resident Evil 4.
Yeah, exactly like it.
Was First Kid like a movie, or was it like a Disney Channel original movie?
Ooh.
Are you saying they're not movies, Trevor?
I mean, like I'm saying
like
specifically for the context of this, because
No,
Disney Plus very much like, if you're watching a Disney Channel original movie, it's going to recommend a whole bunch of other Disney Channel original movies. Versus like, hey, these ones actually came out in theaters and stuff like that. So,
I
don't remember.
It was in theaters.
It was in theaters.
Oh, it was in theaters.
Yeah.
Then it's probably like missed the window of like this era of like the early 90s. And that's maybe why that one doesn't show up here.
Yeah.
Extracurriculars. You guys watching anything else on Disney Plus these days? You guys watching any of that Bad Batch or anything out there?
I haven't.
No?
No, I've tried Clone Wars so many times, I just can't get into it. I know like you have to get past a certain point, but I just could not get past a certain point. So like I'll give Bad Batch a shot. I would like to, something. Granted, it's been months ago now. I do want to shout out the ABC Muppet Show, which is on Disney Plus.
Yep.
The Muppet Show is incredible. The soft reboot. It's kind of like in the same vein of The Office or like Parks and Rec and stuff like that. It
was like an Office like kind of show, like a mockumentary kind of show, but it was set at like the Muppets are like have a late night show basically, right? Like it was
exactly like Miss Piggy had a late night show and like a bunch of special guests and stuff. The fucking show is hilarious and it's such a shame that it got canceled. And please, if you have not watched it and if you enjoy the Muppets, give it a shot. It's only one season. I think it's 20 something episodes. It goes quick. Yeah. I do a lot of Muppets on Disney Plus.
Yeah, I remember watching that
Island,
time.
Muppet Christmas Carol. Ooh.
Muppet Christmas Carol. We did a That D Plus show that during the holidays last year. It is
Best Christmas movie.
It's one of my favorite Christmas movies out there.
Easily.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it on the show. Like the best incarnation of the Christmas Carol story I can think of.
Absolutely. Yeah. Maybe like Scrooged is next to it, but I know Scrooge is a little.
Yeah.
You know.
Shout out to the Mickey Mouse one.
That is another one that I watched a ton growing up. Like around this same era, like we had that on VHS, and like every Christmas we would watch that and Muppet Christmas Carol and stuff. But yeah, like even going back and watching that one again recently, like I had forgotten how good the music is in that. And
so
just
good.
how instantly like recognizable and catchy it is, and then just Michael Caine is just phenomenal, just acting opposite all the Muppets throughout.
And did you guys go over the fact on your episode? Did you go over the fact that they cut a song in the Disney Plus version?
Yep, yeah. I specifically
what a
had
shame.
told the I don't remember who was on it, if it was Cameron, Frank, or Logan, but I basically had specific because you can watch it as like a deleted scene on Disney Plus.
You can. Okay.
Yeah, it's on there as a deleted scene. And so I basically was like, also, we'll talk about it in the show, but watch this deleted scene because it's a beautiful song.
It is. Well. There's a I think it's slated for this Christmas. There is a special edition like anniversary Blu-ray or something that's supposed to be like that cut of the film. Mm-hmm. That like they found. They found the footage or whatever and they're restoring it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I remember that. I think that that news had broke like right around the time we recorded that episode. So I think it was like slotted it in.
Yeah.
It is a great movie and a great edition of it. And without that song in there, a lot of what happens in that scene makes no sense. Like Rizzo's just suddenly crying, and it's like you're like, why is Rizzo crying?
And the end is a reprise of that song.
Yes, exactly. Like the
so
ending
weird.
song is absolutely like. Well, if you didn't know that song existed, this is just a weird, like, new song.
Yeah.
How about you, Kyle? You watch anything on Disney Plus?
Besides waiting for Loki in a couple of weeks.
Sure. Yeah.
A couple weeks ago, I watched Greatest Showman for the first time with the girls.
Hell yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of Disney Plus having musicals like at the ready to go, because that is something like the girls will watch Hamilton once a week because they love that show and it's amazing. So yeah, besides Greatest Showman and MCU.
Well, before we move on from Greatest Showman, Kyle, what is your favorite song from Greatest Showman?
Oh, I don't know the titles of the songs, but it's the ending song is my favorite one.
Okay. I like the
bar
bar
scene.
scene.
Where the bar. Yeah. That's my favorite one.
Wait, the bar scene with you're talking with Zac Efron and Hugh Jackman, right?
Yeah, that choreography fucking is insane.
Oh no,
and
that's fantastic.
Oh my god,
I like the ending bar one.
Also very good.
Yeah.
I am a sucker for the trapeze scene with then the song with Zendaya and Zac Efron.
That's a great one.
Great Showman. Good. We'll have to coordinate, in a few months' time, getting you guys back on for an episode about The Greatest Showman, because
Kelsey would love that.
It's one of those things that's on Disney Plus shows. That Disney Plus. So when we like pitched this idea, or when I pitched this idea to the team, was like, I mean, it'll be like mostly just sitting down and watching dumb Disney Channel original movies or stuff like that. But like you look and see like, the breadth of things that Disney has, and then when like the Fox deal happened, it was like, and we're also gonna get like all of that Fox stuff in here.
Yeah.
Sure, there is plenty of weird things that it's like, I never would have thought I would be talking about this on a Disney show, but here we are.
I know.
But then, there are plenty of things like Blank Check that are on there. It's like, I would not have like remembered that this was a Disney thing. This definitely would have felt like, an Amblin Entertainment or some other thing of that era. But very cool. I'm trying to think. So I am routinely like Fridays when I'm so glad they moved Loki to Wednesdays, because right now my Fridays are I sit down and watch the Mighty Ducks Game Changers, which is like, It's basically a Cobra Kai, but for the Mighty Ducks kind of thing. So they've been doing a really good job with that one. Then I've been watching The Bad Batch. I've slowly been making my way through the DuckTales Season 3, which had come out recently.
Nice.
And High School Musical, the musical, the series, Season 2 just came out. I believe the second episode of that hit last week. So, Yeah, I'm just watching all of those shows. Basically, every show that drops on Fridays that is not the John Stamos one, The Big Shot, I think, is the one that that
the basketball
pops
one
up there. Well, that is going to do it for this episode of That D Plus Show. Thank you, Kyle and Mike, for joining me to talk about Blank Check. You can follow Kyle at Mr. K Step. Anything you want to give a shout out to? Give any plugs to there, Kyle?
Yeah, in addition to 6-1 Indie, I co-host a weekly PlayStation show called The Trophy Room, so you can hit us up over on Twitter at PS Trophy Room, and wherever you listen to podcast services, The Trophy Room.
There you go. I got my platinum for Mass Effect 2 just last night,
nice.
so
Nice.
now
Still grinding through Returnal. I can't give up.
Oh, screw that game. I bounced off that game after like 15
Dude,
deaths.
same.
I was like,
I'm
nope,
done.
nope, this game not for me. But good on you if you're going for the platinum on that one. I'm
two
fine
ciphers away, Trevor.
I'm fine with you getting all them cheap platinums if you're going for the ones on Returnal, because respect on that.
Talk shit about the Breakthrough Gaming Arcade series, Trevor.
I will absolutely talk shit about
You'll
it.
be smite.
You can follow Mike at Mix Towndrow. Anything you want to give a plug to there, Mike?
Just keep an eye on 6-1 Indie stuff. Like I said, we got we got a lot of cool stuff planned for E3, a lot of coverage, mostly a lot of podcasting stuff. We'll do some of the typical live reacts, but we'll be live reacting mostly to the indie focused stuff. Like we're going to be doing the Wholesome Games Direct. We're obviously going to be doing Devolver because we adore that series. An idea Kyle and I had was to rewatch the previous Devolver digital events just to kind of catch up on the Devolver lore before we extend into the DCU.
Did you guys play? Did either of you guys play the Devolver demo thing that they did last year? Yeah,
Love it.
I had a much crappier PC at the time, so it like chugged like a mother.
Sure.
but I went through and played that and was like, this was such a fun, stupid, creative idea.
I love it.
Yeah.
I can't wait for whatever this year's is.
Yeah.
Whether
I feel like
the loot coin that changes every time somebody buys it, whether it's the arcade version of all the games. Can't wait.
I guarantee they're gonna make fun of NFTs. Like that's got to be a given, right? Where they're gonna have like NFT the game or something like that. I feel like if you're gonna do like a reaction for that, you got to basically you've got to create a character that would fit in the Devolver universe and like react in character. Be that a freaking out over the top kind of like insane kind of reaction to the dumbest or smallest things, or just like the super cynical Nina Strauss kind of character of like, I hate all of this, but I'm gonna make as much money as I can off it, or whatever. I think you guys could absolutely have some fun with that. But I look forward to seeing whatever y'all do for E3 and for your E3 coverage, especially because as a fellow fan of the indie scene and indie voices, I love that you guys put a particular spotlight on all of that. Nice. So you can follow them again over at 6-1 Indie, 6-1 spelled out, Indie, INDIE. You can follow me at Trevor J. Starkey, and you can follow everything we do here at That Nerdy Site. Anything to shout out on my end? I sat down with the Spawn on Me featured contracts for Hitman 3 as one of our Let's Plays this week, so go check that out. I basically, effectively killed Paris Lily because that's what Khalif decided to put into his descriptions, and had a fun time with that, so you can go check that out over on the youtube.com/thatnerdysite. Once again, if you liked what you heard, please rate, review, like, subscribe, share the podcast with your friends, ring notification bells, all that dumb stuff we tell you to do on podcasts and YouTube and all that stuff. And if you do feel so inclined, you can always support us on Patreon at patreon.com/thatnerdysite. Thank you for joining us. As always, stay nerdy, be good to each other, and class dismissed.